Today we're talking about comparing prices of items using unit rate. And we talked about earlier this year, actually before Christmas, how some rates you see are unit rates and some are not. So on this Kroger ad that I see, there's one that jumps out to me, the strawberries in the top left. It says the strawberries are two for $4. That's not a unit rate. A unit rate means how much for one. So I can pretty quickly do the math in my head there, and I know that 1 pound of strawberries would cost $2. So that's how you calculate unit rate. So let's look at some problems, some ads that I've pulled up, and I'm going to start with the strawberries. So I know most of you can do that in your head. However, let's write this out. When you calculate unit price, there's two ways you can calculate. You can either do a price per unit, or you can do units per dollar, which is not something we usually calculate. We usually do dollars per unit. It makes more sense. And what that tells me is we're going to put the dollars in the calculator first. So even though the 2 is first, I don't want to do 2 divided by 4. That wouldn't make sense. Instead, I want to do $4 divided by 2. And that tells me these strawberries are $2 per pound. That's the unit rate. Okay, let's look at another one. Let's do the Sundrop. Well, actually, it's Pepsi products. Sundrop, Pepsi, and Diet Pepsi. 3 for $11 with your card. So I know we see 3, it even looks like 3 divided by 11. But if you're calculating unit price, you put in the dollars first. $11 divided by 3 is okay, I got a decimal, but when I'm dealing with money, I want to round it to the nearest hundreds place. That would be 3.67. $3.67 per 12 pack of drinks. Okay, next let's look at one like, oh wait, I don't want to go to that one yet. Hold on. Let's go to something like Doritos. Okay, here we're comparing two prices. I searched for Doritos in the Kroger's ad, and I saw $5.29 for the party size bag and $2.99 for the regular size bag. So what we have to pay attention to is the number of ounces in the bag. So we're going to calculate the unit price for this one. This is $5.29. And the only way we have to compare this is by the ounces. So we're going to divide by 15 to find out the unit price of the Doritos. You're going to get an unusual decimal for a lot of these, but I find out these Doritos are about 35 cents per ounce. Now, they're not going to let me go in the store and buy 1 ounce of Doritos, but this helps me get an idea of how much they're charging me per ounce in the bag. So the second bag of Doritos, the regular size, I'm also going to divide those to get the unit price. And it rounds to 31 cents per ounce. A lot of people think if you get a bigger bag, you get a better price. But looking at this, if I calculate my unit price, I find out this is going to cost me less per ounce, which means this is the better deal. So if I buy lots and lots of Doritos at my house, I want to get the best deal or the most for my money. So I'm getting I'm paying less per ounce for those Doritos. Okay, let's look at some other ones. Now let's go to Coca-Cola versus Pepsi. Okay. Coca-Cola is $5.49 for 12 cans or 12 ounces. And Pepsi is $7.99 for 24 cans or 12 ounces. So think about what I wanted to do to find unit rate for each one of those. When I have my price for each one of them, But think about what you're going to divide by. I have 12 cans and 12 ounces. I have 24 cans and 12 ounces each. Okay, I hope you chose to divide by the number of cans. Since all the cans are the same weight, it's easier to find the price per can in each one of these. Price per ounce wouldn't make as much sense for this. So we're going to take $5.49, divide by the number of cans, which is 12, and we find out these are about 46 cents per can. We're calculating by the can. Okay, Pepsi. There's 24 cans in this one. And that looks like it's about 33 cents per can. So this one is much less. So I'm going to want to buy the Pepsi if I don't prefer one over the other. Pepsi is the better deal. Now let's go back to the Powerade. The Powerade's a little different. So the Powerade, I have 8 bottles versus just 1 bottle. But if you look at the number of ounces, each one of these bottles is 20 ounces, and this one bottle is 28 ounces. So we can't do by the bottle this time because those size bottles are not equivalent like they were in the last problem. The last problem, they were all 12 ounces. So we have to calculate by the ounce here. Well, I know this one bottle of Powerade has 28 ounces, but how many ounces are in this bundle? Well, I have 8 bottles. Each one of them is 20 ounces. That's a total of 160 ounces of Powerade. So take a minute to find the unit rate for each one of those, and let's see what the better deal is. Okay, price divided by ounces is ooh, I get a really weird decimal here. It's 0.028. I'm going to round that to 3 cents per ounce. Okay, on the other one, 89 cents divided by 28 ounces. If I round it, it's also going to be 0.3 cents. So I would say, okay, they would cost the same. In this case, we need to go back and we need to look closer at the division. Well, I still have this one in my calculator. It was actually 0.031788571. I'm going to go way out on that one. And I'm going to go back to the first problem. I'm going to go further out on this one. It was actually 0.02806625. So once I take them out more decimal places, it looks like even though they both round to 3 cents per ounce, this is the better deal because it's slightly smaller or slightly less than the 89-cent Powerade. So this would be the better deal. Next, let's look at dog food. Calculate the unit price for each bag of dog food and see which is the better rate. The dog chow, always start with the dollars. $12.49 divided by 18.5 pounds. That gives you around 69 cents per pound for this dog food. For the Pet Pride, it's a cheaper brand. I haven't heard of it before, so I'm hoping it's going to be less. And it's a big bag, 50 pounds. It's quite a bit cheaper. it rounds to 38 cents per pound. So much better deal. Sometimes you don't have to divide to see. If you look at this, if I look at the amount of dog food and the price of the dog food, the amount of dog food more than doubled. So then you would expect the price to more than double, but it didn't. So I don't always have to divide to find out what's the better deal. Sometimes I can tell by just observing the amounts and seeing what would cost me less. Okay, let's do one more. Lucky Charms, the best cereal of all time. My favorite from childhood through adulthood. Okay, calculate the unit price for each box of cereal and see which is the better deal. Okay, let's go for this is actually the smaller box. A lot of times we think the smaller box is going to cost more. Let's see. That's going to give you about 27 cents per ounce. Okay, big box. Looks like that's going to give you about 19 cents per ounce. Okay, so once again, the bigger box came through. Why do you think they market that way? Because they want you to buy more cereal. Obviously, if you buy more Lucky Charms, you're going to be buying less of everything else. So they're a lot of times going to make the bigger size cost less. Also, think about this. That means they pay less for the packaging that takes to to make that box. So that's why they market it that way. Let's see, do we have any left? Yes, Kit Kat. We have not talked about Kit Kat yet. Okay, one last problem. Calculate the unit price for each of those Kit Kats and see which is the better deal. Okay, once again, it looks like they both rounded to the same number. So I'm going to go back and check this first one again. It was actually, let's change this. It was actually 3752. So slightly less per ounce. So this is the better deal. This one you might get a little confused on because we get our brains programmed into thinking we always put the bigger number in the calculator first. And the number of ounces was the bigger number. But remember, you always put the cost first when you're calculating unit price. So no matter if it's bigger or smaller, put in the dollar amount first.